Good Saturday evening, everybody. I hope you had a delightful Saturday. I hope you were warm. We started off in kind of an odd place because I got up this morning and made a pot of coffee and stuck my contacts in, and the power went off for 5 hours. But it came back on, thank goodness. So we are warm and cheery now, but good gracious, it got really, really cold because it's crazy cold here. I've got a couple of new journals to go in the shop today, and these are just a small portion of the new fabric that I have. I'm so tickled to work with this. I just think it's extraordinary fabric. It is just truly, truly beautiful, and I am blessed to have it. The first little journal features pens, and I am kind of a geeky nerd when it comes to pens. I love pens, and I know that a lot of us do. It's kind of part of our stationery personality. We like books, therefore we like paper, therefore we like pens, and we like writing. This is really remarkable fabric. The front of it says Ernest Hemingway. Turn it on its side, and there's an ode to John Steinbeck, Harper Lee, and then when we open the book, up at the top, we see Ray Bradbury, Charlotte Bronte, and Arthur Conan Doyle. So it's just a really super cool piece of fabric. I did want to incorporate these authors up here in this book. You know, you have to kind of wiggle your book onto the fabric and figure out the best use of the fabric. And I wanted to get the pens and the authors in there. So I used a lot of fabric. As a matter of fact, I covered this entire box with fabric. So we've got a little bit of a bow right here. So I just wanted to kind of alert you to that. And the front of the book is not perfectly flat right here. You know, perfectly flat right here, but not right here. So just, you know, just know every book that I make is different. Every box is different. They're different textures, they're different weights. Oddly, even the same box is a different size sometimes. You know, even when the same product came in the same box, it's still a different size. It's almost like being a chemist and trying to figure out all of the different sizes, weights, and how each kind of box takes glue and fabric and things like that. But you know, it's a grand experiment, and I sure do enjoy it. This book starts out with one of my quilted papers that says Far Away. This is one of the scrap pieces that I've been doing that I'm really enjoying. It's kind of one of those mindless things that turns out really well. You kind of don't even have to think about it. We are focusing, of course, on story for the month of January, and we may just make story a theme throughout the year. I love this stamp. I think that it encourages you to tell your story. I've included a small book for you. I was thinking last night that it would be cool if you know, even if you, sometimes it's hard to write a new story for ourselves. So, you know, even if you wanted to start with your old story, like in this part of the book, and then flip the book over and start a whole new story for yourself, I think it's important to write your story. No matter what that story is, you know, if it's, but it's never too late to change your story, y'all. You know, it's never too late to tell yourself a different story and start to believe a different way about your life and the things that you can make happen and your possibilities. This book has lots of pretty paper in it. This was a collection, a paper pad collection that is just extraordinary. I can get lost in that whole paper pad. We've got Two Gentlemen of Verona, Shakespeare, Hebrew text. This is just a really cute story about my magic box down the street. This is from a Precious Moments book. And it says, my magic box down my street. There is a magic box down at my street. You should come and see it. It's really neat. I stuff in a letter, away it goes, hopping and skipping on tippy toes. It finds its way near or far to Chattanooga or Zanzibar. It's just really sweet, talking about the child's mysterious mailbox. I thought it was really super cool. Hold on, let's see if I can find a way to stick this back in here. There we go. The next little item here is a vintage Christmas card. I love the front of it because it's very clean. It has a very sweet lightness to it. It's an angel and a deer in the snow. Very pretty. This is one of my favorite papers, y'all. I love anything that has to do with keys. Few little prompts for you. More of that pretty paper. This is a shaker advertisement for inks, writing inks. Maynard and Noyes, Boston, Massachusetts, are the oldest manufacturers of inks in the United States. Pretty incredible. This is some shaker ephemera. More of the Hebrew text. This is an illustration from Two Gentlemen of Verona. We've moved the pockets from the front of the books to the inside of the book, so there's lots of stuff for you to play with right here. This is a 1923 advertisement from a Sears and Roebuck catalog about school bags, tablets, students, notebooks, school bags, and student cases. I thought that was really super cool. I remember when I started first grade, I had a school bag, and I even remember what it looked like. It was like red plaid, and that's where I would tuck my lunch money and my books. And did you have one? Did you have a school bag? Now, this was before knapsacks. I think maybe boys carried knapsacks and girls carried, you know, like a school bag. And I've got a skinny book in here for you. This reminded me of an old style typewriter. I thought that was super cool. And this is a San Francisco travel, from a San Francisco travel book. I was a food writer for a couple of magazines here, and I always thought it was such an interesting job because it was interesting to go to these restaurants and see what inspired these chefs. And their stories are always amazing. Always just incredible stories about their love of food and their love of people. This is from the Hardy Boys, As the Clock Ticks, I think is While the Clock Ticked is the name of the book. And this has a character named Mr. Dalrymple. And that reminded me of, do you remember Lady Dalrymple in Persuasion? I always thought she was such an interesting character. You never really actually saw her except for once, but she was talked about in the, you know, in the book. Another Jane Austen kind of thing. You know, the story of Anne Elliot and Captain Wentworth. So, such a sweet story. This is about customs. The chart below shows what you can bring in duty-free. Visitors from overseas are allowed greater concessions as regards duty-free cigarettes and tobacco. A very old piece. I thought that one was super cool. Some Chinese text for you. Here's a little more French text. This is a little piece that I made from the scraps of a sticker sheet, and it has the word Bohemia up here. Probably one of my favorite words. I think this is a Spanish lesson. More of the San Francisco travel guide. More papers. A lot of the maps in here are the UK. Love to go there one day. Some ABCs for you to play with. Feathers. Very into feathers. This is a handmade feather. A handmade paper feather. And more papers. Place for you to write, guys. I've been trying to include some lined paper in these books to encourage you to write. There are prompts throughout the book. All you have to do is just kind of let your eyes land on something and write about that thing. This is a map of London. This is a lovely old Christmas card with holly and ivy so green and so gay. They deck up our houses as fresh as the day. Isn't that lovely? And this is a Yuletide greeting. You know, usually we see Christmas greetings, Merry Christmas, but this is a Yuletide greeting. This is from the Great American Recipes book. This is about biscuits. One of my favorite things. I just taught my little Russian niece how to make biscuits. And I make biscuits a very old-fashioned way. I use milk, vinegar, and water for my wet ingredients in my biscuits. And that's what she liked about them so much. She said it always reminded her of Russian bread, you know, the vinegar in the biscuits. This is a portion of a Cracker Barrel travel almanac that talks about candlelight and fireplaces and torches and candles. It wasn't until the 1800s that change became a necessity, driven mainly by the need for a better way to illuminate lighthouses to keep ships safe. And it gives the story of these beautiful hurricane lamps. I just got a hurricane lamp that was wired to be a regular lamp, and I sure do love it. I got it from a house that my neighbor was cleaning out. It's really quite beautiful. You know, one of those oil burning lamps. This is from the 1964 Ladies' Home Journal. It shows a before and after room. This is the before, this is the after with pink slip covers. And this is a handmade bookmark for you. This is the Yuletide card. This is the greeting on the inside. Wishing you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And it's from Betty, and she's dated it 1954. More places for you to write. A couple prompts. On the road again. Favorite songs. Some tickets for you to stamp or play with. And this is from a vintage piece of packaging. That would make a nice bookmark. Flower stickers. More paper to play with. I love stars and I love this color. This is the UK. This is Cambridge. This is handmade paper made in India. This is part of the Red Cross nursing manual, How to Select a Doctor. And more of the mini medic card. I only have one of these left, and I'm going to be sad to see these go because I just thought they were the coolest things. Now, right here is a lesson, a French lesson about a visit to the doctor. And then this one is about Michael is not well. So you can see the illustration of Michael in the bed with a thermometer in his mouth. I thought that just went nicely with the Red Cross nursing manual and the mini medic card. More beautiful paper. Some stickers for you to play with. Sorry, that one came off. Some Tim Holtz vellum. Yes, I wrote that 100 times so I would not forget the word vellum. Give me a gold star. This is a round bookmark and a skinny book for you. This is starting to be vintage kind of things. This is a name and address book, and it has name, address, city, phone, and phone. No email. Those kinds of things are very interesting to me. We're starting to drop, you know, we talked about receipts, how we don't get receipts anymore, how they email you receipts. You know, we're becoming more and more and more paperless. Which is sad because I love paper, especially old paper. I love that. This is the highlight of the book. 3 pieces of vintage ephemera. And I'll take these out quickly and show them to you. This is from George Bobb, who is a librarian, bookseller, binder, and stationer. And he's in the UK at 167 New Bond Street. He has a circulating library. There's a stamp right here. Absolutely beautiful. There's an envelope from Gregg and Sons, manufacturers of doors, windows, blinds, and moldings. Inside here, and I know you see it, 1906, there's sealing wax that is still there from 1906. Pretty cool. This is addressed to Miss Ruby Arnold in Healdsburg, California. It was just such an extraordinary piece to have the sealing wax still on there. My sister visited Venice a couple of years ago and brought me back sealing wax. And I was so geeky. I'm such a nerd. It was just incredible. So you got 3 beautiful pieces of ephemera to round this little book out. This little ode to writers and writing. And she is in, these ephemera pieces are in plastic, tucked into the very back pocket, y'all. And there we go. And I should have this in the store later on this evening. The next journal is fun. I love anything Moroccan, and this is part of the new fabric stash that I have. The spine, I finished it in carved wooden beads, and these are stone beads right here. I love this pattern. It is just so beautiful. Love anything Moroccan. I don't know what's happened to me. Here are some flowers for you to make, and a piece of Tim Holtz vellum that has a very pretty little flower on it right there. This pocket says story. Your book features a feather. So kind of make of that what you will. You know, are you going to take off on a new adventure and you want to write about it? Are you going to fly away somewhere this year? And of course we have a magenta elephant. And I think most of you guys know my magenta elephant story. This is French with English translations. Beautiful Hebrew text. Two Gentlemen of Verona by Shakespeare. The Spanish lesson. This is from the Hardy Boys as While the Clock Ticked, 1950s. Lots of paper for you to play with. And remember, you guys, I mean, you can take this book and make your own greeting cards. The Moroccan themed remind me of sequins. I spent 3 years as an English as a second language teacher. This was in the mid-90s, before we really had English as a second language. So we were kind of flying by the seat of our pants. it was one of the most humbling, wonderful experiences I've ever had in my life, was getting to know children from around the world and trying to teach them English. It really made me gravitate to the fact that we are one family, that we are one people. It was just the sweetest experience one of the sweetest experiences that I've ever had. I feel better when we're together. And a skinny book for you. Some reinforcers. This is from a 1935 journal. This is really super fragile paper. It's very, very pretty. Some more things for you to play with. Some of the handmade paper from India. Isn't that luscious? This is from the Cracker Barrel, Almanac. A new moon. Looking at a new moon over your right shoulder is good luck, but looking at it over your left shoulder is bad luck. Catch a falling leaf on the first day of autumn, and you won't catch a cold all winter long. Isn't that cool? Love it. And the American recipes, little addition to the signature here, says cooking for a crowd. This talked about platters, and it was very interesting. I know some people think of platters merely as utilitarian food servers, basically overgrown plates. To me, however, they are individual pieces of art, ready to enhance the mood of a room, and I cherish my diverse collection of one-of-a-kind platters. This is a lovely page from a magazine that has a display of platters on it. It's kind of got that shabby chic thing going on. This is a secret pocket for you, that I've got some things hidden in there. More from the 1964 Ladies' Home Journal, which also features platters up here, which I thought was kind of cool. This is super neat here. This is one of the vintage Christmas cards that Art Angel sent me. Blown away. Dear Kathy, Harvey, and Georgia, another year has rolled by without letters. It seems too bad. Hope your new shop has proven to be all you expected. And then the author goes on to say that she's working again. She was retired for 2.5 years. I still have and live in my nice home, and so does Sister Belle. We neither one want to give up our homes, so we both live alone. Seems too bad, but our homes hold such pleasant memories. I think often of our visit in 1955. You were so good to me. Isn't that lovely? 1955. So I wonder what year she was writing this. 56, 57? A little bit of shaker ephemera for you. An ATC that says engage. Reminds me of Star Trek. Captain Picard. Engage. This is a bluebird of happiness for you. This pocket just turned out kind of purple when I added the little vintage flashcard, and then this little puppy just wanted to be part of it. So I said, cool. You can come be part of our party. This is part of the inspiration book. I really do love that. Very, very nice. This is part of the Red Cross Nursing Manual, How to Build Sound Mental and Emotional Health. Shaker ephemera, How to Properly Wrap a Wound, one of the mini medic cards. I've got one left. Those were so cool. Vintage ephemera from Harry Nielsen from 1946. More paper and things for you to play with. This is a sweet little book that my friend Judy teaches daycare, and her children are recycling their Christmas cards, and they're making mini books out of them. And Judy brought me a whole bunch, so I wanted to pass them along to you guys. I just think it's the sweetest thing ever. Her kids are always making something. Isn't that a great legacy? You're teaching your children to make something. This is a fabric page. Name, address, city, phone, no email. This is a calendar and some planner stickers for you. A sheet of words. Love this paper. This is the handmade paper made in India. ABCs for you to play with. A napkin. A bookmark. Some sticky notes. More stickers for you. A few little inspiration pieces. Something for you to write about. Picture perfect. Quote. More feathers. And there's a handmade feather for you. Pocket, stickers, and we're almost at the end. We've got a dress form, some pattern paper, and a bookmark for you to play with. So there we go, guys. The first Moroccan out of this beautiful fabric. Very blessed to have this fabric. These are going in the store tonight for $35 each. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. And stay warm, and I will talk to you soon. Have a good evening, y'all. Talk to you later. Bye.